So yesterday we did the Pythagorean theorem. Today we're talking about special right triangles. So you're gonna have your homework out, we're gonna go over it. Why did my son go to the nurse again? This is ridiculous. I'm going to bop him on the noggin. Complaining that it's being taped. Okay. Yeah, he and I can have a talk. Okay. So it is the 5th. No, it's not. It is the 4th. 25. Expect a quiz on Thursday. Danny, I need you to get your homework out. Okay? I can solve side length of special right triangles. That's what we're doing today. Is I can solve the side lengths of special right triangles. So let's go over this homework first. I'm going to sit down and then we'll go from there. Let's get some music going. I don't have anything ready. Okay. So number 1, we did 1 through 6. 12, I don't remember. Here we go. Number 1 should be 5 centimeters. 2 is approximately 5 8/10 inches, 5.8. Number 3 is approximately 2.2 feet. Number 4 is approximately 8.7. Number 5 is 7 feet. Number 6 is 1.2 miles. Questions on 1 through 6. Then did we go 13 through 16? Is that correct?
Yeah.
13 is acute. 14 is right. 15 is right. 16 is obtuse. Any of those do we need to see?
Wait.
I will wait.
You said 15 was right?
15 was a right triangle, yes. 20 squared plus 21 squared equals 29 squared. The longest side has to be your C. My guess is you didn't do that. My guess is you did 20 squared plus 29 squared equals 21 squared.
I did 19 squared plus 20 squared equals 29 squared.
No, none of them were 19. That's why.
Oh, okay.
That, you just put the wrong numbers down.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We good there? 22 is approximately 19.4 feet. 23 is approximately 163.6 meters squared. I'm sorry, let me go back. Find the area of the region. 22 is 19.4 feet squared. Maybe I said that, I don't know. 23 is 163.6 meters squared. 24 is approximately 206.4 centimeters squared. And 25 is approximately 10.8 yards squared. Questions on those? Okay. Here we go. I got some news yesterday. So actually just after this class, I am definitely not going to be here the week after. Still the same plan's going to be there. 3 of my 4 surgeries that I have to have are approved. Just 1 is not approved right now, but they're still working for that. So I'm still having surgery. We just don't know if all of the surgery that needs to happen is going to happen. Yay, insurance. Okay. Today, notes are simple. Understanding is not. Okay? So you need to work with me. If you have questions, you need to say, Mr. H, I'm confused, okay? Because I wish that I was a mind reader. I'm not, okay? So we are starting what's called special right triangles. Okay? First, we know the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay? That's all well and good, yeah? We know that. Okay. Then we have another type of right triangle, and we call it a 45, 45, 90. Okay? What do you think the 45, 45, 90 represent?
Sides?
Not the sides. The what?
Angles.
The angles. This is a 45 degree 45 degree, 90 degree right triangle. So, if I have a right triangle, but this is 90, this is 45 degrees, and this is 45 degrees. What do we know about this? What type of triangle has those angles the same? What's that called? Very good. This is an isosceles triangle. These two sides are congruent. So a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle, or an isosceles right triangle. Because sometimes it might not have a 45, 45, 90. It might be written like this. If you know this is 90, and then all of a sudden that these sides are congruent, it's a 45, 45, 90. Everybody still with me? Have I lost anybody yet? All I'm trying to do is get you to understand what is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Well, with this, we have legs that are the same, and we have the hypotenuse, right? So we have a leg, which are congruent, and we have the hypotenuse. Does everybody agree? The legs are the same, the hypotenuse is not. The legs are the same, the hypotenuse is not. So, if we have a 45, 45, 90 triangle, let's call the legs X. Okay, the legs are called X. You can substitute any number you want in for X. The hypotenuse is always the leg times the square root of 2. So, here's what I'd put. Leg times the square root of 2 equals the hypotenuse. That's one formula right there. The other formula, so this is one, the other formula is the hypotenuse. Let's try again. Spell it correctly, Mr. H. The hypotenuse divided by the square root of 2 equals the leg. Right now it doesn't need to make sense. That's fine. I'm here to make sure that it does. Okay? Let's work some examples. You ready? So, I have a nice right triangle. I have two congruent sides, which means it is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Immediately. This is 7, which means this is also 7, which means the hypotenuse has to be the leg times the square root of 2. So my answer for X then becomes 7 square roots of 2. That's it.
So you wouldn't like write?
No, you can write it just like that. Just like that. Yes, Diego.
Never mind.
No, go ahead. Really, it's fine.
So you wouldn't solve it? Like you wouldn't do 7 times? Like?
No, you don't need to do the Pythagorean theorem. You immediately know.
All right.
Okay? So let's do example 2. (45, 45). Ah. Okay. So this is why we're not doing the Pythagorean theorem, because now we only have one side. We only knew one side. I put the other side because this is a shortcut. These are shortcuts. What do I have in example 2? Do I have a leg or do I have a hypotenuse?
Hypotenuse.
The hypotenuse, because it is opposite of the 90-degree angle. Okay? So to go from the hypotenuse back to a leg, we take this. So I'm going to say 24 square roots of 2 divided by the square root of 2 equals the leg. Well, what's the square root of 2 divided by the square root of 2? What's anything divided by itself? 1. 24 times 1 is?
24.
So my leg is 24. Okay, we're going to do a bunch of examples. Today is a lot about examples. I told you the notes are small. The examples are a lot. Okay? Now, this is where math comes in. So far, that's not thinking. There's nothing to it. Here's example 3. $12.
Sorry? Oh.
What are we given? The hypotenuse. And I tell you, I don't want decimals. So you can't, man, okay, so that's the hypotenuse. So I'm going to do 12 divided by the square root of 2. But Mr. H says he doesn't want decimals. So you can't take a calculator and do 12 divided by the square root of 2. Crud. So we need to get this denominator of the square root of 2 gone. And it is called rationalizing the denominator. To get rid of the square root of 2, you have to multiply by the square root of 2. Now watch what happens. I get 12 square roots of 2 divided by. If I got my calculator, okay, and watch this. 4 times 4 is 4 squared, right? The square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 2 squared. The inverse of a square root is squaring a number. If I get my calculator and do the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, I get 2. When you take a square root times the square root, the same thing, you get rid of the square roots and it leaves you with just the number. That's called rationalizing a denominator. Okay? But am I done? No. Because I can do 12 divided by 2. What is that?
6.
This leaves me 6 square roots of 2. That's the answer. Should we see another one like that? Yeah. Let's do one more. So we've got my right triangle. $21. Okay? We're looking for either of these. So my hypotenuse is 21. So I take 21 divided by the square root of 2. This isn't an answer. Okay? I have to, again, what's called rationalize the denominator. That means I take this square root and I multiply to both the numerator and the denominator. Okay? It's called rationalizing. You should have learned this in algebra. I know that I wasn't your algebra teacher. You should have learned this. It's called rationalizing the denominator. I'm teaching it to you now. Any time that we take a square root times itself, you get rid of the square root and you just get the number. In the top, I just multiplied 21 square root of 2. Can I simplify 21 square root of 2? Or can I, let me try this again. Can I simplify 21 divided by 2 and not get a decimal? Nope. This is my answer. That's it. I don't want decimals for these special right triangles. Listen again. I do not want decimals for these right triangles. Everybody with me? Okay. I'm going to have to erase a lot.
Can I write down an example, please?
Yep, I will. I'll leave these and I'll come over here. Bless you. Okay. My favorite that's going to cause us trouble. Next. So here's special triangle number 3. So we have Pythagorean theorem. We have 45, 45, 90. And we have 30, 60, 90. And again, these are degrees. So here's what we need to know. We only know one side right now. What side do we know? If I said, give me a name for one of the sides of my 30, 60, 90, what could you give me? The what?
Hypotenuse.
The hypotenuse. Because it's always opposite of the
Right angle.
very good. So this is my hypotenuse. It does not change. What is the shortest leg?
30.
Opposite of the 30. So the short leg is opposite of the 30. Short leg. I am now officially changing the name of it for our class. That's the short leg, which we are going to call the schleg. Okay? It's called the schleg. So you have the longest side, which is the hypotenuse. This is the longest. You have the shortest, which is the schleg, and then you have this one, which happens to be the middle leg. Or, how we're officially going to be calling it from now, the
Leg.
mleg.
Leg.
It's the mleg. Okay.
This is great.
Leg.
Everything for a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And you're going to want this. Starts with the schleg.
Wait, what is that?
I'm going to fill stuff in.
Oh.
I'm just doing this for myself. If I have the schleg and I multiply it by 2, I have my hippopotamus. Okay, I have the hypotenuse. If I have the short leg, the schleg, I multiply it by 2 and I get the hypotenuse. Only for 30, 60, 90. Okay, this is only for 30, 60, 90. So that's number 1. Number 2, if I have my schleg and I multiply by the square root of 3, I get the leg. I get the middle leg. Okay? We want the schleg. We want the schleg. Because that makes it easy to find everything else.
What if you don't have the
But what if you don't have the schleg? That's a great question. So what if you're going to need the schleg? You have to go back to it. So number 3, if I don't have the schleg, let's say I have the hippopotamus. I have my hypotenuse. I need to get the schleg. What do I have to do with the hypotenuse?
I'm assuming divide by 2.
Divide it by 2. Okay? Because you can't go from the hypotenuse to the middle leg. You can't do that. You have to go back to the schleg. The schleg is the ruler of them all. It's like the One Ring. He's the one that rules them all. You don't get that reference, do you?
I did. I watched Lord of the Rings.
Okay, last one. We have the leg. And this is where we're going to be doing the same thing as over here, where we would have to divide it by the square root of 3, which is the schleg. Okay, those are important. Those are important.
It's hard to keep a straight face, but you just say schleg and leg.
I'm doing all right. So, let's start off easy. We're gonna start off easy. The first part, and not the toughest, but what you need to do first and foremost every single time, is be able to identify what side is given. It's the schleg, because I go up to the opposite angle. And it points, the 30 points to that. That's my smallest angle, which means this is my shortest side, or my schleg. So I have my short leg, excuse me, to find my X.
Leg.
This is the middle leg, this is the leg. So to find X, X is going to equal, and now go over to your formulas. I have my schleg, I multiply it by the square root of 3 to get my leg. So I take 4 times the square root of 3, there's X. We good?
Wait, why did you do square root of 3?
Because you have the schleg, you multiply by the square root of 3 to find the middle leg.
Oh, okay. So
You're just plugging it in.
all right.
Okay? If we have the schleg, you plug it in, 4 times the square root of 3. Now to find the hypotenuse, look, to find the hypotenuse, we still have the schleg. We say 4 times 2 equals the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is y, so we do 4 times 2, so y equals 8. It is easy if you have the schleg. If you do not, it gets a little bit trickier. But still not overly complicated. Okay. So now this is where it gets tricky. Which variable do we have to find? Actually, first of all, let's do this.
Leg.
8 is what? 8 is what?
Leg.
The leg. Because it's opposite of the 60. So I'm going to write right above it that this is the leg. Okay, that's important. You need to know what you have. What do we have to find first, X or Y?
Y.
I heard Y, I heard X. Which one?
Wait, we can choose or?
No, there's a right answer. I'm asking.
Oh.
Which one do we have to solve for first?
Y.
We have to solve for Y because we have to find the
Schleg.
schleg. Y'all, I'm just trying to make it fun, okay? Trying to make it fun. The only person that doesn't seem to be having any fun.
I'm just trying to focus.
And I appreciate that, Lucy. So we have to find Y. We have the leg. So I take my leg. 8 divided by the square root of 3 is what Y is. Except this is garbage. You can't have this. If you put this on a test to me, I'm marking it wrong. This is not correct. Because you are not allowed to have a radical in the denominator. So just like we were doing before, we have to rationalize the denominator, which means we multiply by the square root of 3 in both the numerator and denominator. That gives me 8 square roots of 3 divided by 3. That is my schleg. Everybody with me? Now we're missing X, which is the hypotenuse. So I take my schleg and I go 8 square roots of 3 divided by 3 times 2. That gives me 16 square roots of 3 divided by 3. That's it.
I'm sorry, what? Oh.
This is my schleg, and I multiplied by 2 to get my schleg. Everybody with me? Let's do a couple more. Let's go up here.
Leg.
I'm not space. Oh.
Great names for you guys. Schleg.
You can buy
Leg.
the words, it's all it is. That one does all the time.
Get it there, Meg.
It's
Middle
leg.
leg. Meg.
The leg.
Okay.
So do we only do this when it's 30, 60, 90?
What?
We only do this when it's 30, 60, 90?
Yeah, this is only for the 30, 60, 90. The 45, 45, 90 was just times the square root of 2. So these are special right triangles only when the angle measures of this. Okay? So, what do I have? What's 14?
Hypotenuse.
The hypotenuse. So I'm going to say hypotenuse above it so that way I know. Okay? Which variable do I have to find first? X or Y? Y. Because it's the what?
Schlag.
Yeah, have to find the Schlag. It's always opposite of the 30-degree angle. So, look, to find Y, we do the hypotenuse divided by 2. So Y equals 7. With me? Now that I have my Schlag, to find the leg, I take this, I say, okay, Schlag times the square root of 3, and I'm done. Are we good? This is it. Okay. We are going to do a lot more work tomorrow with this. So your homework's not going to be very long. Let's do numbers 1 through 10 on page 321. That's your homework. Page 321, numbers 1 through 10. Daniel, did I look at your homework?
Lunchbox right here.
Okay, so get started. If you have questions, let me know. These are the formulas for the 30, 60, 90. You should have the formulas already written down from the 45, 45, 90. Love y'all. Get started. We have about 10 minutes.
May I use the restroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.